Okie dokie, guys, welcome back to another vintage video. Today we're playing some SqueeVine, and we've got ourselves a deck list here. So pretty stock in the main deck. I'm on 3 Mind Break Traps and 2 Furies. That's kind of like where you can flex around a little bit. Everything else is normal. 8 Lizards, 4 Vengevines, 4 Hollow Ones, a bunch of Blue Permission, 8 Squeeze, 4 Vengevines, 5 Strip Mines. So the aim of the deck is to find a Bazaar of Baghdad, dump some creatures, get some Vengevines back, and then counter your opponent's spells. If you don't get the quick clock off the Vengevines and Hollow Ones, you've got these Squeeze and Master of Deaths to accrue card advantage. Post board, we've got 8 anti-Dredge cards, which is a lot. I don't love that as a sideboard construction, but we're going to run with it because that's what most of the lists use these days. So we'll see how we get on. I've got 4 more removal spells for people who play mono white. Echoing Deeps for Wasteland matchups, Trap for combo, and Snapback, which will come in against non-Luris Tinker, Mono White, and Dual Shops. The Dual Shops is narrow, but it adds a blue count, so we're more likely to open up with Force of Will on available, and it can also bounce a Wormcoil Engine and push through a few points if that's the line the opponent takes. So that's the idea. We're going to run it through a vintage league and see how we get on. I'll see you down there for round 1. Okie dokie then, round 1 we're up against this opponent, and we've got a cracked start if we can hold until our turn, because we are on the draw. So a nice 6 power at least on turn 1, maybe more. Opponents revealed a Chancellor, so they're, so that means like their Vexing Bauble and their Void Mirrors will resolve through, or they can just have, just got a Clarion Conqueror, good grief, that was scary. So with the Chancellor, opponent can play Anointed Peacekeeper, Void Mirror, Vexing Bauble, Archon of Emeria. All of these things are scary. Clarion Conqueror kills their white source, and we don't care. They've got 4 cards left, so let's say Plains White Plume Adventurer. It's the scariest. I don't think there's much we can do. One of our lizards is dead anyway due to the chance of the Annex trigger. I'd hate if we missed. What does this do? Nothing. I can't Vigor in response because it's my turn. Otherwise I wouldn't mind that as a play. Vigoring the Pearl to eat the Chancellor. But it's fine. We've got the backup Bazaar here, and I would like to play my Hollow One. So Conqueror can get annoying if they are able to stall the board. No pre-combat land drop makes the world a better place. If they don't attack, they do attack. Okay. If they don't attack there, then I would Vigor their Pearl on their end step. They've got the waste. Okay. And they wasteland me, that's fine. I've got another Bazaar. I've got the Master coming back, and I've got these 2 Vigors, which are essentially free pitch fodder. Do we want to wasteland them to keep them out of the game? I think so. I think that seems really free, doesn't it? I wasteland you, your Lotus doesn't work. You can't really do much off of drawing a basic Plains. A Witch Enchanter doesn't help you, and you're just losing the race. So that all seems nice. If they play another land, I might just waste it again whilst I'm ahead. As discussed, your Lotus doesn't work. And here, if they don't attack, then we get to kill their 2 permanents. That's a Witch Enchanter there. So they still can't play a 3-drop. They continue to attack, though, which is kind of wild. I've got Plough covered. I don't have Solitude covered. If I'm wasting again, do I just want to kill their 2 permanents? I think we're fine. I'm going to waste them again, I think. There's a Squee. Let's just wasteland their land and attack for 5. And then if anything ever happens to this Clarion Conqueror, we can just blink the 2 Moxen in response. At some point, opponent can't attack. and the moment they don't is when we kill the stuff. They don't even like the idea of chump blocking to unlock their Moxen, so that's good for us. We win game 1 against mono white, and mono white on the draw is very, very scary, due to the cards we listed at the beginning, right? The lock artifacts, Vexing Bauble, Void Mirror, and sometimes Trinosphere, and then the lock creatures in Peacekeeper Archon. That's their deck. Post board though, they do have Leyline of the Void, they have Containment Priest, a lot of things going on. The Chancellors as well. We're going to drop a lot of our blue cards and see where we end up. This is where I start to dislike these 8 anti-dredge sideboards, because now I've got to play Force of Will. I don't really want Chalice post board on the draw. Let's just sort by colour quickly and check the counts. The blue count is borderline 12, but I don't want to drop Squeeze. I don't want to drop kill spells. I don't want to drop creatures. I like the deeps against the wastelands. I like the hollow ones, I like the powders. Misstep's questionable. What does that beat? It beats Plough and it beats Vexing Bauble. So maybe that can be a Force of Will. Snapback's good. Mindbreak Trap is good if they go Mox thing. But with the Vexing Bauble builds, they're less likely to do that. So maybe we make that Mindbreak Trap another Force of Will and submit like this. Because now they can just go Ancient Tomb, Void Mirror, and that's very close to a game-winning play. So that puts me on Vengevines. Vengevines or bust. This is Mindbreak Trap, so this is going to demonstrate the problem. I am going to keep this though. Like, you've got to keep the Bazaar hands. You can't just mulligan for a better hand. You've just got to hope you get the activation off. And game 3 will be on the play. They could have a Leyline here. I've got 2 green cards rolled up. The second Mindbreak Trap is going to be... okay, that was a cool and competitive game. Okay, they just mulliganed forever. They mulliganed to 3 and then just scooped match. So that was cool. So they were very, very invested in Leyline as their anti-sideboard strategy. Which is interesting because generally the mono-white decks will have 4 Containment Priest, 4 Leyline of the Void, and then a number of Archon of Absolution, which is like a Ghostly Prison or a Propaganda, stops you from attacking unless you pay mana, which I don't play any of. And then on top of that, they've got the 12 plus lock pieces pre-board and 5 Wastelands. So it's just a nightmare matchup, and it's hard to imagine a awful hand like that, but hey ho, we get the win. We'll go to round 2. Okay, so round 2, on the draw again against Bruninho, who... It's a cool start to the league. It's 2 players who I don't know the names of, which is fun and different for the Vintage Qs. It's another Bazaar matchup. Both players on 7, but opponent on Dredge. So we kind of lose game 1. And then game 2, we've got those 8 sideboard cards, plus we also play 5 Wastelands. So that's pretty neat. Let's see what we can draw. We're really excited about a top-decked Wasteland here. That's a mental misstep. That will win the Vigor fight, the Noxious fight if we get into one later. I'm going to go Lizard, Hollow one, I think. Well, I just don't know where I want this basking. I don't know if I want it in my hand. They didn't play a Hollow one last turn and they've got Dredges, so they're never going to deploy, right? So I don't need the Vigor, I don't need the Lizard. Is there a way they end up back on Hollow ones? Not really. They've got the Nut Dredges and a Prized Amalgam. I would have really liked to Wasteland off this activation or draw step. So I think I can do 2 Lizards and a Powder. Lizard, Powder. And when I say I can win the Noxious fight later, is if I get a Wasteland, I Wasteland them, they Noxious their Bazaar, and I misstep it, and then they're without a Bazaar. The issue we've got here, though, is we didn't have the turn 1 Wasteland, and that makes future Wastelands a lot worse, because they're going to get off an activation here. This is going to be a Dredge, Dredge 16 or something. So triple Icarid, prized amalgam, plus a draw step. 2 Narcomoebas, more than I can deal with. They've got all the Icarids, they've got 2 amalgams, they've got 2 Narcs. Yeah, this is gross. And this is the issue with missing that turn 1 Wasteland. And then they just flick the rest of the turn. So they don't have another Bazaar, so that's exciting. It's just we need to be alive, you know. And that doesn't look massively viable from this spot. Seeing as they're attacking us for 12 out of the graveyard plus whatever's in play, so it's just a clean 20, right? Okay, so we'll take our draw step because we're allowed to. We'll activate a Bazaar of Baghdad. We do find a strip mine. I think it's fairly easy on Powder, Squee, Lizard. There is a dream where you'd like to be able to hold on to your Lizards to bring back Vengevines, but that's just not really an option here. We've got the Misstep for the Noxious. No attacks, we're going to try and just survive. Delayed Amalgam trigger goes off. No Noxious from the opponent, but they do have a shit ton of Icarids. They might not be able to bring them all back due to Dredge counts. Oh no, they're going to land with exactly 1 Stinkweed Imp, so yeah, they just eat everything. Stinkweed Imp triggers, they find another Stinkweed Imp. I think we get to Noxious. So, well, we block Amalgam, we block Icarid. Does that matter? It doesn't make a difference, does it? All my creatures die, all their creatures die. I take a comfy 8. They've just got Stinkweed Imp left in the bin. They're going to be able to bring back 2 or 3. I'll be able to bring up 3 Icarids next turn, which is still a lot of Icarids for me to deal with when I'm at 10. 2 Icarids next turn. Okay, well, this is how I block. Did that Amalgam see things come into play? No, good. So then we can top this Stinkweed Imp. Their Icarid will die. I get my Squee back. I just need creatures now. Although I've already been through 3 Lizards, which is on the tougher side of things. So draw step, Force of Will is not useful. So let's just go Squee, Negation, Vigor. Oh no, I wanted a Lizard. Okay, that was just a massive punt. Okay, so I die. I'm supposed to discard the Lizard. I don't know if that makes a difference, right? They hit me with 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, so they hit me with 3 Icarids. Yeah, no, I was still dying. Okay, it didn't matter. They just exile everything here. Icarid to Icarid. Oh no, they didn't do that. Okay. So I go to 2. I eat your Amalgam. I need to draw Vengevine and Fury this turn, and I've got a Squee in the bin. They get triple Amalgam over the next turn cycle, because they'll get the last one in my end step. So there's a red card for Fury. There's a Blazing Root Waller, so this activation is going to pick up Vengevine and Fury. Just a Vengevine. Block, 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 and I can't Noxious. No, I just said to the Narcs, right? So let's go to the next one, and then now obviously I get all of this permission. So, well, all of this graveyard hate is what I mean. So what's good and what's bad? Force Negation is bad because neither of us can actually like cast a spell on our own turn. Mind Break Trap doesn't have any text at all. That's quite clearly decimated our blue count, so maybe we can just drop blue altogether. That gives us 3 slots for Fury, Pyroke, I guess. And we've also got this Chalice of the Void hanging out, so I'll just bring in another Pyroke. So then I can start messing around with the idea that I can kill some creatures and get them out of the way. I've got 8 Graveyard Hate pieces plus 4 Noxious, 5 Strip Mine. Mind Break Trap is like Mental Misstep is like the best card post board because it's going to kill. If it wins the Bazaar battle on its own sort of thing. The Bazaar mirrors a lot of the time are the fight over Bazaar of Baghdad and then cleaning up afterwards. If neither player can like summon a force of creatures, then the Bazaar battle is the main thing to focus on. This doesn't do anything, so we powder. This doesn't. I know I've got Wasteland and Ravenous Trap, but that's not enough. I need a Bazaar of Baghdad, so I'm going to go to 6. This also bad. This also bad. Okay, well that's great. So I will powder this. I will save Vigor Noxious. And I've got Bazaar Trap Vigor. Oh, that's a great hand. I am on the play though. They've got a ley line. Do I want to play my Bazaar? What if they have a Wasteland? What am I doing? I'm activating, discarding Fury plus the 2 cards I draw. So do I even want to play Bazaar of Baghdad? Not really. I think I'll just pass. Because there's no... Like, they can have between 0 and 2, maybe 3 Wastelands in their sideboard. And if I play Bazaar of Baghdad, I'm not discarding Force of Vigor. I'm not discarding my green card to go with Force of Vigor. And I'm not discarding Ravenous Trap. So I'm just exposing the Bazaar to mill 3. And that's not very good. So I'm going to Vigor upkeep before they can sculpt much more. They might have Grief. They might have Force of Will. But that's just the world we live in. Do I want to play around Hollow One? Maybe. Maybe playing around Hollow One's a good idea. This might run harder into Force of Will. And they're a Mind Break Trap version pre-board. Which means they're usually worse at getting completely off of blue. So maybe I do hate what I've done here. Like, you can go early to beat the cards they draw. Or you can try and snag the extra value and take the greed that the greedy line that I'm going for here, the extra value of a potential Hollow One. But then my opponent's going to see, 3 more cards to play with. So up cards, down cards, Stinkweed, Thug, Icarid. This Grief's going to happen. Let's see how they stack their triggers, because we might get... No, okay, they stacked them correctly. So let's just try to Vigor. That works. Now let's trap you. That works. Now you can take my Fury. If they stack their triggers the other way around, we just get the Grief in the trap, right? But opponent played well. They had the Hollow One. And I've got a Noxious Revival. What do I do? Do I expose Bazaar? I guess I do expose Bazaar here. Because they're going to upkeep flip. And then I can Noxious their Dredger that they hit and put it back on top of their deck so they draw it for the turn. They didn't upkeep flip. Large amounts of confusion. So I'm going to check if my keyboard's connected. It is. So what we're going to do then, I think, is... Oh, can I Do I care about Ravenous Trap at the moment? I guess I do. But they won't play into it, will they? Because I can cast Noxious on Ravenous Trap. Activate Bazaar in response. Mill 2. If one of them's a squeeze, then I get to go up cards this turn. Or I get to sculpt more. Or I can just hold Noxious available. What do I do? I think I like just taking a draw step and ignoring my Ravenous Trap for a second. And that's just because if you activate now, I get another Bazaar of Baghdad. Okay, so I'll play the Bazaar. And then I just get loads of activations in the next turn cycle. I'm not sure how I'm using this Noxious just yet. So they're going to activate end step here. We hope they discard one single Dredger. They discard 2. Okay. They dredged 3, so maybe they're holding misstep because of the way they played. They didn't want to go down that last card. Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. It's just how much damage do they deal me here, right? With this activation. I don't think they can have a second Bazaar on turn 3, otherwise you would have just gone off last turn. We need this to all miss. I don't know how that's possible though. It's only a Dredge 6 though. Well, it's Dredge 3 plus Dredge whatever. But Dredge 6 with the shown info. So they hit an Icarid, they hit a Grave Troll, they hit a Narcomoeba. This Noxious might have to hit that Narc, they're in their main phase. Yeah, so let's Noxious the Narc then. Keep the kids out of play for a moment. So you don't get your Narcomoeba trigger. Provided I hit the right one. And then opponent's going to attack me. I'm going to flip now. And then we will have a lizard trigger on the stack. And we'll respond to that. Because if I hit another lizard... So if I hit exactly the same again, right? Lizard Vengevine, and I get both Vengevines back. I don't, I miss. I'll cast the lizard and gain 4 life. But next turn everything falls apart. We mill upkeep before we have cards that matter. Maybe that trap bringing back would have been really good. There's a Master of Death. I like that for later. But I am taking 7 this turn. There's a Squee. I like that for later. Wasteland. Oh, they've got a trap. I've got a Noxious. What did you Noxious? Oh, Leyline, sure. Whatever. That's fine. I've got so many cards next turn. Creeping Chill, Narcomoeba. So I take 10 this turn, I go to 4. They get infinite creatures into play. I think we just got hammered. Maybe that Ravenous Trap was the play, but it was such an open Ravenous Trap, the way it would have lined up is they would have known about it, they can play around it. I don't know. So that is a lot of creatures. And I can't pick up my Master of Death because that puts me... Well, I can't ever do that much. No, I think that's just lost. If I pick this up, I just die to Creeping Chills. There's the board, which is obviously bigger than I can ever produce, plus 2 Icarids, plus 3 remaining Creeping Chills. I've never been dominated so hard in all my life. So, but I think I leave the Master behind. Wasteland's just on time, really. This doesn't do anything, does it? I have to get rid of 3 of these. So, like, Ding ding, ding ding. Pyrokinesis kills 2 ghouls and 2 Icarids. I'm at 4, and then I'm only taking 14. Yeah, okay, it's fine. There's 2 Vengevines in the bin. 1, 2. Hollow one, Lizard. No, I can't win. Okay, fine. We just got slaughtered. Maybe I'm supposed to bring back that trap earlier when I was hanging around with the Noxious, because there was a couple of turns there where I didn't activate. I held turn 1. I think that's fine. I've got nothing to discard. Is that true? No, because then they griefed me, didn't they? But I was scared of Wasteland, which maybe I shouldn't be. Oh well, we're dead. Next game. Okay, so round 3 on the draw again. We're up against Red Hot Phil, who also plays a lot of SqueeVine, but also plays a lot of Duel. We're going to keep our turn 1 Vengevine with protection. Turn 1 One Ring is really bad for us. Obviously, Vexing Bauble and Trinisphere, the 2 lock pieces they can play. Opponent's gone to 6. Opponent plays a Mox Jet and a Mox Sapphire, which I'm not going to fight the Sapphire into a Grim Monolith yet. And then that's that. Okay then. Okay then. So we get to activate a Bazaar, attack for 4. Yeah, that's tasty. So I'm going to hold the Lizard, discard the 2 powders, cast Hollow One, cast Hollow One, trigger Vengevine. Yes, please. In for 4 we go. And then upkeep we can Vigor Grim plus Sapphire. And the opponent needs Force blue card PO to win, but I don't think they've got that. Well, they just pitched Force. Oh no, you're not. You're joking. They had it? Well, I'm forced to do this. Oh, that just got through. Okay, cool. So they considered Force of Will, but they decided the PO was a better choice. I think the PO is a better choice because we know they've still got Force of Will. But they didn't have the bonus blue card, so they were close. They were close. I want Mind Break Trap. I want Snapback. So let's put them over here. These two can go. But I also want the Pyro Ks. I do want to play around their Fury. I'm going to come off 2 Noxious like this. So they can have a whole Breach of Post board. That's what I meant by play around their Fury. Noxious isn't very good. Yes, it's our green count for Vigors, but the Vigors aren't the main event here. Actually, maybe 1 Noxious can come back in for additional green and we can drop a red Lizard, something like that. I know that makes our red count really bad, but the Squee's a fake red count. You can discard your Squee and get back up onto your removal spell next turn. So, you know, red count doesn't matter. It does, but the Squeeze coming back can give you easy justifications to make bad choices. So it's quite nice like that. So this hand is pretty. We have got strip, counter your spell, blow up your Moxen, but that's not usually going to be good enough. So we're going to powder our hand and try and find something that plays the game in the way we want to. Here we've got Vigor, easy green, potential turn 1 Vengevine in the middle, and if not, we've got a Squee to get going with +2 Bazaars. So we'll keep this, heavily exposed to the 1 ring here, but that's, you know, just the life we live. Opponent's kept 7, don't love it, don't love it. Ancient Tomb, Grim Monolith, yeah. Mox, Ruby, and then the dreaded ring. Yes, you've got it. So that really puts us behind by quite a lot. There's 2 Vengevines. I think they usually have Grafdigger's Cage as their hate piece. I'm going to go with Vengevine in this situation. No point in fighting their Moxen in this spot. Their main aim here is to activate this 1 ring and then play another Metamorph or something like that to loop the ring. And their aim is just to loop the ring until they can kill. Or is this just a Wormcoil Engine? It's a Wormcoil Engine. I might kill that. I think I'm going to try and kill Wormcoil plus Ruby on their end step. Pitching a Noxious. I could have tried to do this with protection, but I didn't. So they pitch a Sink. And then we get our Squee back. We get another Vengevine. So Squee, Vengevine, Revival. And do I want to waste a land? That doesn't really matter, does it, in the face of the 1 ring? Good grief. They're going to draw 3 cards. I don't think Wasteland matters, so I'm going to sit on Vigor plus Lizard. There's 3 Vengevines in our bin. They're just impossible to get back. There might have been a line there where you kind of like pass to their turn, make a Lizard, activate the other Bazaar, Noxious a Lizard, get back your Vengevines. But making it die requires combat, so they're always going to know. This negation is forced. But I mean, like, I have to do it. Not that they've got Force of Will. Yeah, and it's your go, Phil, you're up. So yeah, so they kind of come off the jewels and the big explosive thing, and now their aim is just to leverage the 1 ring, either through looping with things like Metamorph or clearly just outgaining the life loss from the counters. This is another 1 ring. Opponent goes back to 18. We get 2 squeeze. They've only got 3 cards, but they're going to go up to 8 cards in their turn. Serum Powder. Some good cards here. I think I've just got to go over them. I hate my play. Cool. So opponent falls to 15, but that doesn't really matter. There is a world in which this game was like academic. We brought back 3 Vengevines very quickly. We countered their spell, their 1 ring, and then they just died. But it's not the world we live in. It took us a bit too long to find the extra blue card for the first negation. We've never seen a second creature in half our deck. They've got a Vexing Bauble, so I can't resolve spells. And now they're doubling up on Wormcoil. So comprehensive defeat in the opposite direction. And then I think I'm still happy with how my deck's built though. I know I cut a Lizard and then failed to find, but we did see how useless Noxious is there though. We got a bit Noxious flooded, but I think just a slight bit more green count is acceptable. I'll keep this hand. I like this a lot. 2 traps, 3 easy discards from the off, and if we can pick up a Force of Will, that'll be nice. So let's just go Master of Death. Will we go Master of Death, or do we just go Powder Powder Squee to start? I think Powder Powder Squee is better, because then I'm just so stocked for this opening salvo. And I'll just come off the Master of Death at the first opportunity. Just with the main game plan of getting to turn 2. Mana Crypt's always such a nice thing to counter. I think you can have it though. Because if they just go Mana Crypt, Ancient Tomb, I want my traps available for all of their Force of Wills. So Vexing Bauble, which I have to counter. That gets through. Mishra's Workshop into another ring. Into a needle. Good grief, bro. I'm going to trap that. They've still got 3 mana left. And they're Trinisphere. So this was like mono lock piece control. However, I had everything as well. I get my Squee back. I get a card for the turn. You got to believe we're killing this Workshop this turn. They've got 3 cards left. It's a Force of Will. Oh, that's so stressful. I can keep Force of Will and try to out-counter them. Or I can strip them and hope they're short on lands. But if they go Ancient Tomb One Ring after I strip them, and I have a Force of, or I have another Bazaar in my hand, I'm just going to be so sad. So can I strip them, or can I just hold Force of Will? I don't need a second Bazaar at the moment. So I think they clearly don't have protection, otherwise one of those lock pieces would have resolved. So what was that? As Mana Crypt, Vexing Bauble, Pithing Needle, Trinisphere. I think I just have to hold up Force of Will, right, and just try and leverage this Squee to get us into the game. So I think just the threat of strip you, land 1 ring, and then we just die. So I think we'll try and stay alive. Black Lotus. Sure. Holy hell. And now they have Hull Breacher. With Force Protection. No, not with Force Protection, because they can't quite make that much mana because of the Workshop. This is an easy activation. I've got Force for their Hull Breacher. They don't have a Hull Breacher. I'm going to pop a Lizard into play and just try and slowly accrue blue cards. Or discard Negation and try and slowly accrue Strip Mines. I'm going to just try and slowly accrue blue cards with a 1/1 in play. I'm just signing up for the idea that I'm going to counter every single threat that they play this game. Alright. The Mana Crypt hurt them, and that's the sort of thing we need. They play a basic island, they've got 2 cards in hand. I think that changes the maths, right, on Force of Will plus Hull Breacher. Let's attack for 1 and see if they just get greedy. So Force of Will plus Hull Breacher kills me. I still think I activate though. Right, they don't have a Hull Breacher at the moment, so I can play around that going forwards. I can keep the Pyrokinesis, and that will give me Hull Breacher protection on every activation going forwards. But then what do they have that they're not playing out at the moment? Wouldn't they play Coveted Jewels and just try and slay? Maybe they're just holding lands and they just assumed that one of those 3 turn 1 lock pieces would have hit. One of their cards has to be Force of Will, right? That's just That's just a fact, I think. So force of will plus land, maybe. So I think I hold red card. No, I don't like red card. I think I want to just hold blue card and just get there. Let's play a hollow one. That regretfully resolves. I'd really have liked to see that get force of will, to be honest with you. Crypt goes off again, but they win the flip. They have a Mina Mana Mo, so they've got infinite mana at this point. I'm glad I didn't go down the wasteland path. Maybe at some point we're going to see like a really anemic PO for 2. Noxious Revival. That's interesting. Let's attack for 5. I'm going to go now again. Wasteland can go, and I've got double protection now, which I do like. Because now I can beat their suspected force of will. They win the flip again. Turn 1, they played that. So there's been, what, 4 rolls and they've only lost 1. I'm going to file for comp. If I lose this game, opponent passes the turn again, which is nice. I think we're fast approaching a point where I'm supposed to just stop tapping my Bazaar. Well, that might make me change my mind. Should I stop? No, I should activate. That gets through. So Squee, Wasteland, Lizard can go into the bin. We'll cast the Lizard. We'll play the hollow one. Opponent's dead on board. And I've got double protection behind. They have clearly flooded out quite hard this turn. Okay, so this is the PO for 2, I think. Do I want to... Oh, no. Oh, sink into stupor. Okay, that makes sense as well. Now the sink's good, right, because you can bounce my hollow ones. Interesting, and it's hard for them to sink a force of will because it sends it back to my hand. And they're just off it. Okay, cool. Yeah, so the end step sink, they floated 3 blue. The end step sink doesn't work because you're still taking 6. I think they just flooded super hard. So I think their hand is force of will, sink, land, land, something like that. But there's a lot that can go wrong for us throughout that whole game, right? You've got all of the worm calls that they can draw, which I think is about 3. Hull breachers backed up by force of will in response to an activation. Then your hand's decimated. They've got infinite mana, and they're just a thing away. Yes, we had the nut high turn 1, but we also had the opportunity to lose turn 1 if I discard that Master of Death on the first activation. Right, if I say I can't envision a hand that beats negation plus trap, and I discard my Master of Death, then I lose 2 Trinisphere. So no, I like how we played. I think there's probably some activations in the mid game that we didn't need to make, and we were just lining up to get punished. But I think once I've made that first one and got away with it, I can do it all with a bit more confidence going forwards, just with the acknowledgement that it can get worse. But hey ho. Yeah, that last hollow one, actually, I wasn't going to activate that turn, but I did. Anyway, next round. Okay, round 4 against Shamwell Fella. They've revealed a Luris. We're going to take a mulligan. Could be Luris PO, could be Luris Control. We'll keep this, we'll send the powder. The Fury's good against Control. The negations are good against PO. But opponent did keep 7. Misty Rainforest. Mox Emerald. Basically means it's PO or maybe Bug. I think that's actually what Chamois fella's got in their range. I think they've got Luris Bug. Please don't get an Underground Sea. Oh, I hate that for me. Okay, so the issue with the Bug list is that they're going to have less non-creature spells for their turn, so my negations are worse, and they're going to have 5 Wastelands and Deathrite Shamans to get in the way of everything. I've drawn a second Bazaar of Baghdad, which I really like, and I've drawn the World. I think I just send here. So I think I go Vengevine, Lizard. And then I just try and kill your Collector Roof. They might fight the Fury just to save some life points, but I get 8 power into play on turn 1. Do I even kill the Collector Roof? Yeah, I don't care about your green mana. And I get in for my 8. An opponent can still play a Psychic Frog next turn, which beats us. Oh yeah. One of the few targets, and they played it on their turn, which is really nice. Possibly a main deck Daze. But just a concession, so that's really nice to steal game 1. I want Furies and Pyro-Ks, I want Echoing Deeps, and I want my Snapback. So all my creature removal and my protection for my Bazaars. Chalice is bad. Negation's not great, traps aren't great. That is an exact 60 actually. How does that make us feel? Negations aren't great. Vigors aren't great, but I don't know what hate they're going to have. Fury and Pyro-K is great for Bowmasters. And it's okay for Frogs, it's not fantastic. It kills Deathrite Shaman. Kills Yixlid Jailer. Negation protects Vigor if they're on Needle and Cage, but Cage isn't much of an issue unless I'm just on a heavy Leyline draw. Heavy Vengevine draw. Snapback bounces a Frog. Yeah, no, I think this is fine. They're probably just spell bombs, to be honest with you, because they're a Luris deck. But we'll give this a go. And if they play a lot of non-creature spells, then maybe we'll bring the negations back in later. We'll keep our double Vengevine Bazaar hand. They've still got the Luris, so they haven't got a Leyline. And we'll pass their first turn. Wasteland. Moxjet. Okay, so an opponent with a face-up Bowman. Oof, that's tough. That is tough. Okay then. So we are now just on mono Vengevine kills here. So we'll discard 2 Vengevines and a Master of Death. And we'll pass the turn. We'll get Wastelanded in their main phase. And then we Echoing Deep, so we pray to not get wasted again. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. They got 2 of my vines. They've got the Wasteland and I can't cast spells. So I think we don't need to sit around and watch that one play out. Do I want these 2? Over what? Would be the question. Maybe over a Pyro-K. I just go back to 3 negation to protect against those cards. Maybe over both Pyro-Ks. But maybe I want a Fury gone and 4 negations. And that way I've got at least 1 out to an instant speed Bowmaster. I can at least make that assumption. We'll say yes to playing first. Bazaar, Lizard, a bunch of Squeeze. They've got a Luris. I've got a Wasteland to maybe tempo them out if that's the way the game goes. I don't know if they'll be on tab in this list. Maybe 1. It's just a league, so I don't really feel like looking up people, but the presence of Tabernacle is pretty big. Okay, turn 1. Noxious, second Bazaar, and Vengevines are obviously what we're looking for here. Hollow One's not the end of the world. So let's discard Lizard, Squee, Master of Death. We cast a Lizard. We beat Ravenous Trap at the moment unless they force this. They don't force that. So either they don't have a plan for a Hollow One or they're just already holding the tab. Seven cards. But like if this is just Wasteland, oh, it's just Polluted Delta, okay. Underground Sea, Pithing Needle. Pithing Needle gets fought by Master of Death and Negation. Opponent has Force back, pitching Time Walk, that's fine. They name Bazaar Baghdad and we just move on to Wastelands, being our primary plan. That's a Lizard. I am just going to ship this. I don't think I can play around the Tabernacle when I've not got an engine going. Especially when they can just go land Frog, right? That's so scary. Ugh, okay. Okay, so that's rough. So I am going to play this one out. I don't think I'm completely dead yet. I can still draw cards each turn like this. And we can get to discarding some Lizards. We can draw Noxious. We can draw Vigor. They've got a Strip Mine for me there. That's nice. So the moment a Vigor goes on the stack, my card dies. So I need a second Bazaar or an Echoing Deeps at some point. I might be able to bait Wasteland with Echoing Deeps on Wasteland. But opponent's struggling to find mana sources of their own. We find another Bazaar of Baghdad. We'll hold that for now. Keep it a secret. Keep it safe. And they find an Underground Sea. So that unlocks Bowmasters. That unlocks all of their spells, all of their removal. That really puts us far behind. Before it was fine. It was just like a nice little thing. Why would you draw step? Do you have an Extirpate? Maybe they're holding strip. Maybe they're holding Surgical. They thought about strip Surgical on my Bazaars. So if I'm getting Surgical, then I'd rather get my Squee Surgical than my Masters, because I'm holding 2 Masters. And then opponent passes again. We are definitely like single-digit percents here. So we get the Wasteland. What matters to us though? That's the question. If I Wasteland you, what am I wasting? Tabernacle? Underground Sea? Strip Mine? I don't care about the Strip Mine, I've got another Bazaar. Maybe I'm just stripping Underground Sea. Just try and keep both players dead. Okay, fine. Fine. I lose. You got me. You got me. That was a pretty horrible top deck. I think once the Needle's resolved, I still like fighting their mana and just trying to keep them in the dumps, but the immediate Tabernacle is just tough. So you'll find this though, Bug is one of the worst matchups out there for this deck. All the Luris control decks are horrible, and then Prison Shops is really bad as well. So anyway, final round I think. I'll see you there. Okie dokie, round 5 then. We're up against turn 1 Tinker. They recently had the Atraxa version of SqueeVine, which was cool. We've got a powder. Oh, if I click the right button. And then we've got Bazaar double hollow one. So I'll keep this. And we are on the play. Is this the first on the play of the day? Could be. Opponent mulligan to 5, so I think they're also on a similar style deck, which means I want access to what? I definitely want my 2 hollow ones, and I definitely want to protect them. But then I'm playing... I think I've got to discard Serum green, because I need to wasteland their Bazaar Baghdad, I need to protect my hollow ones from a Force of Vigor of theirs, and I need to protect my Strip Mine from their Noxious on their Bazaar with my Force of Will as well. So I think it's green, Serum Powder, play 2 hollow ones. If they counter the hollow ones on the way down, I don't care. And then the Force of Will's protect against Vigor. And it has to protect against Vigor because I'm exposed to Wasteland of my own. Because I'm discarding my Noxious. And then if they've got Vigor Noxious of their own, then congratulations. But it'd have to be Vigor Noxious Force, wouldn't it? Which is really tough on 5 cards. Okay, I'm happy with that. I play 2 hollow ones. I must protect the hollow ones against green removal. I don't care about like a Fury or a Pyrokinesis, because that's only taking out one of them. And my forces are stretched between Vigor and Noxious later. They've got a Bazaar, as expected. They're on Vine, as expected. So we get a nice mirror match to end with, but turn 1 Tinker has a sweet Atraxa build, which they could be on as well. So we get a Squee, we get to play a Strip Mine, attack for 4 and 4, so that makes 8, so attack for 8 then. And then timing is a question that I've got for you. Because if I Strip Mine in my turn, and then they Noxious in my turn, then their negations are on for my Force of Will. If I Strip Mine in their upkeep and lose the Vigor fight, then I give them another activation, but it's in their upkeep. And they've demonstrated a desire to keep these cards, but I'm giving them another look at hollow ones, which currently my clock. So do I want them to have negation available, or do I want them to have another look at hollow one and lizard off the top rope? I don't think I can beat hollow one plus lizard. And I'm giving them another look for wasteland, which they clearly didn't have last turn either. So I think we just have to lose this fight to negation and deal with the consequences. But losing this fight to negation is 3 cards from the opponent and a loss of a draw step. Turns out they had none of it. Well, they just had everything. Okay, they had a second Bazaar Baghdad. Opponent discards Subtlety Force of a Wasteland. That's... what does that mean then? Let's construct a hand that they keep that has to discard Wasteland. literally just noxious vigor, something like that, right? It's got to be 3 green cards. I'm going to flip end step. That was like the nut load. That's so hard to come up with. Well, they've discarded Wasteland, so they're happy with me having Bazaar. So I don't know, it's not that hard. I just keep blue cards. It's fine. The reason to activate there is I get my Squee back guaranteed, so my hand in my upkeep is exactly the same. The benefit of activating is if I hit a random lizard, it's just going to pop itself into play. And if I hit another Squee, then I'm up 2 cards. So this is a free activation for a Wasteland. I miss, but I come off 2 blue cards. It's tough to come up with a world where I care. I attack for 8. I'm expecting Vigor plus Noxious as their hand. That's not the case. This plays around Vigor again. What are they holding? They came off Wasteland last turn. If they came off Wasteland last turn, what does that even mean? Well, the Wasteland was this. It was for this turn, right? Because it's their turn 3. So maybe they just felt like they couldn't hold the card. But I still don't understand what they're holding that was better than Wasteland on turn 3. Or maybe they're so scared of just being dead by then. That would make sense. And now they need to put a creature into play and have Vigor. That's triple Lizard. That's going to do some blocking. I agree. And they get the Vengevine back. Okay then. That's cool. Okay, so one of my guys dies, 2 of their guys die, 3 of their guys die, but one of them's a Vengevine. So they're just holding lizards the whole time? So lizard plus what though? There's got to be another Wasteland, right? This all comes in. Hollow one goes onto the stack. Oh, that's gross. That is gross. And now I think I have to let this go, trade off 2 hollow ones, and slowly make my way through their hand. But they've got the Wasteland now. Okay, that went very poorly very quickly, didn't it? So Squee, top deck Fury, win the game. And my board beats their board, right? Over a long enough timeline of 2 decks with no engine going. Trade, chump, 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 win on turn 4. Sure. Cool. Your creatures die. They don't have a Squee or anything like that. I can beat Noxious. I can't beat Bazaar, so that is nice. We held that Force of Will for a very long time. I know they didn't really cast any spells, but... And now we just get into like the Garbo time. They get 1 freebie attack here, yeah, get that point in. Nice. And they don't find a Bazaar off the top, which is great news. We've got Fury as an instant top deck to win the game. Back over to them. No attacks is a delight. No Fury just means I have to fade another draw step. Opponent's creature is dead. Over to you. Opponent concedes. Perfect. So they just missed the last few draw steps. So did we, but that was a sick game. I enjoyed that a lot. So the mirror match. We want these. We want these. We want this one. We don't need Chalice. We don't need traps, we don't need negations, because it's really hard for either of those cards to be enabled. And then we'll come down all the Force of Wills. Can I go down a squee? Maybe. Maybe. Okay, Leyline, Bazaar. Sure. Opponent's powdered immediately. Fury, Echoing Deeps. They've got the Ravenous Traps. 3 Furies have gone. 1 Strip Mine's gone. And then the age-old question of how many Leylines do you put into play? So, if I put 2 Leylines into play, and then activate Bazaar and make a hollow one, then their Vigor can't kill my hollow one. If I put 1 Leyline into play, and activate Bazaar, I've got another card I can discard. Opponent's going to show me how many Leylines they put into play first. I don't know the answer, whether I'm supposed to put 2 or 0. 2 or 1, sorry. I think I just do 2. And just give them the satisfaction of their Vigor landing. They didn't exile any Vigors. Nor did I. Leyline. Oh, they're on 2 cards. Okay. Well, you can have double Leyline from me then. If you've got 1 card left. So they're just holding nothing. Okay, so I just destroy your thing and you concede the game. As are the rules. So they didn't find a Bazaar of Baghdad. They mulliganed to 2 and just kept a Leyline. They could have a trap here. I don't care. They didn't trap, so they've probably just got Wasteland Leyline. That'd be a good hand. No, it's just straight back to me and they've got nothing. Okay, cool. Maybe anticlimactic. I'm not saying it's over, but I'm saying that it's tough for them. Let's just go Squee Powder. Play a Wasteland. Pass the turn. I might be playing with fire here on the Ravenous Trap side of things. Or the Wasteland side of things, sorry. As I try to not get blown out by trap too hard. And maintain my advantage in this sense. I really want a Lizard. Force of Vigor, sure. There we go. So now I can go Lizard, Squee. And my their Ravenous Trap is not enabled because Lizard doesn't go to the graveyard. So there's only 2 cards gone so far. We get to play Hollow 1. Vengevine comes back. The game is all but over. Oh, they've got a Noxious. Okay then. That's fine. I still have 5 power. I've still got 3 Squeeze on the loop. And 2 Leylines. So I think we're gaming. I think our opponent's just completely cold. They did have to like pay the Bazaar tax here, where you just kind of never see a functional hand, never see anything that works. Everything sucks. Let's just go Squee this time then. And just ramp up the cards. I've got another Squee if they've got the trap at some point. Maybe that could have been Squee Leyline, but I think we're just, you know, being needlessly picky at that point. Just clicking buttons should probably work from here on out. And that's a match. Okay, so 3 and 2. We lost to Bug and Dredge. The Dredge matchup I don't mind losing. There was that like Ravenous Trap decision we made early, right, where I can hold priority, flip a Bazaar, cast Noxious to put trap on top, and then force my opponent to play around Ravenous Trap for the next couple of turns. But it also, at the time, felt like such a massive tempo loss. But then I also don't know how much I like... I think I was played too scared with the turn 1 Bazaar. I think I'm just supposed to play it. But I was never activating it. But then the thing with that is that even if I'm never activating it on turn 1, it's still in play for the turn 2 activation, at which point I can find a Wasteland and really then change that game, right? So the Wasteland kind of led me down the wrong path, but it was my Wasteland I needed to think about. So that was cool. It's always nice when you can see the logic behind both decisions, but then also the downside of one. But maybe it's a bit resultsy. I don't know. I don't think I like playing around Wasteland in that spot, is what I'm saying. The other games we won, I enjoyed them. I liked the decision we made in the keep against Phil to keep the Master of Death. The turn 1 Tinker match was quite fun, even though I had the initiative the whole time. And then round 1 was against Mono White, which is just a coin flip, really. We were really lucky they led on turn 1 Clarion Conqueror and not anything that's relevant. Because they've got so many cards there that just kill us, so... Yeah, no, a nice league of Squee. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again. As we approach the Eternal Weekend end of the part of the year, I will try to ramp back up to 2, maybe occasionally more videos a week, but I'm not quite sure when that ramping up is going to happen. Certainly not next week, just because I've got people visiting, and then after that we'll see how we do. Alright, take care everyone though, and thanks for watching.